too much time.
Yeah, it was a lot. That's good. Kids enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's what's all that matters.
Easier wrangling little kids or dealing with these?
Let's just say I, didn't have to put together too many gifts.
Oh, there you go.
It's good.
Win-win.
Hey Liam, Jordan Lewis obviously on IR now. Just what's the challenge with him being out, and then I guess the rise of Jarian Jones now?
Always hard when you lose a leader. Elite communicator, guy that brings energy and focus and playmaking to our defense. So that's always hard, but he's handled it like a pro. He's been extremely confident with the guys around him, continuing to try to pour into them as much as possible. And Jarian, just every opportunity, he's continued to get better and has made some huge plays for us this year. His play energy is always something that I appreciate, and he's tackled at a high level, especially in space. So continuing to get him moving in the right direction, and we're going to need him down the stretch.
Is there a chance he could play again this year if you go far enough, or will he be ready for OTAs?
Yeah, I'm not sure the exact timetable, but I wouldn't expect too much this season.
You've had injuries, you never won them, but throughout the season you've had a lot of combinations in that secondary. I mean, how much confidence is that giving you for guys like Jarian and Christian Braswell if they do need to step up?
Yeah, a lot of confidence. I think Milo and Perk and those guys have done a really nice job of preparing that group in the back end with both at the corner, nickel, and safety position. We've had a lot of guys play and be fortunate enough to play and to get depth throughout some of those injuries. And so, in the moment, you're obviously trying to continue to build the chemistry, but also knowing that in the long run, that depth will help us, and it has helped us. So counting on those guys in the back end, obviously, to continue to play at a high level. And as you go towards the end of the season, it doesn't really matter who's out there. It's just, hey, man, this is a job that we have to do. There's a responsibility that we have to all know the game plan, communicate at a high level, and go make plays.
I know you'd rather have him on the field, obviously, but is he still one of those guys who can contribute and just with his presence, just still being around?
Definitely. Already has, to be honest, with just his positive energy, being in the training room, just no long face and woe is me. He's just not the type of guy that he is. He'll definitely help us. There's no question throughout the stretch and as we go. So the guys all trust him. They all believe in him. He'll have great guidance for all those guys that are playing in the back end and be able to continue to contribute that way.
With a guy like, if you have to play Monheim at center, he's seen some snaps through this year. How well has he sort of picked up the operation with Trevor?
Yeah, but he's done a great job, really all through training camp. And then when he had the opportunity to go play against Washington, he actually graded out really, really nicely. So a lot of confidence in Jonah, and if he ends up having to go, I think there'll be good continuity. And, it's just a on-the-road environment, a little bit different, so we just got to have to see how he handles it. I have no question about how he will, but, he's done a nice job, and those guys up front have done a nice job preparing him, too.
What do you view Walker Little as right now? Is still a tackle who can play guard, or just like one of those other guys that you just throw in wherever you need?
Good football player on our team. Seriously, it's just having, being in this position before in 2022 in LA, where it was a tough year of a lot of different roster assignments up front and having to pull people off the street, and that was a challenge. And so to have the depth that we do have on the offensive line was something I think we did a good job in the offseason attacking, whether it was through pro free agency or the draft, and then continuing to work and develop with the guys that were here already. That's something that you never want to be in that position of not having depth and talent up front. And so Walker's been able to continue to contribute to that, and appreciative of that.
You went through that. Did that reinforce in your mind that when I'm a head coach, we are never going to be in this situation again?
Yeah, it wasn't so much as more like when I'm a head coach, but it was more of just not wanting to be in that situation again, regardless of what position I'm in. And then just so happened that James had been through that as well in 22, and Tony's an offensive lineman. So it was not a difficult sell, and we were all on the same page about, where we needed to add depth, where we needed to really strongly work on the development, and how much time and resources need to be put into the offensive line position. We have 3 coaches in there. And so that to me is always going to be of top priority.
Important to some of that veteran leadership. You've had a lot of those young players that have had to step into those roles, and you've always pointed towards some of their veteran teammates helping make sure that they're prepared and understand the standard that they got to go out there for. That's not always the case, right?
No, I mean, I think that the last thing you said was the standard of upholding the standard. When you have a new player come in off the street or somebody we just signed, well, it's our veterans and leaders' responsibility to show them what the standards are every day of preparation, practice, and then performance ultimately on Sundays. And so that's no different for, young guys stepping into a little bit more of a focused role, as a contributor or somebody that we're elevating off the practice squad to come and play on Sunday and get a helmet. I do believe that our veterans, guys that they understand what we're trying to get accomplished. They're able to voice that message to the locker room, and that we're all on the same page. I think that's really what it comes down to. If our standards as coaches are higher or lower than our players, that's not probably a great sign. And so us understanding as staff, coaches, and then also the players understanding what the standard is and upholding everybody to it on a day-to-day basis is a sign of growth, yeah.
You mentioned pro free agency. Take you back to the first day in March. You agreed to terms with 8 guys. That night as a staff, how excited were you that, hey, you got guys that were good players but also would probably lead the charge for you?
Yeah, we were excited about the group that we were able to put together. I think a lot of people were questioning, well, what's this? How is this one that important? And hey, it just comes down to trusting the process and understanding that, we wanted to continue to elevate this place and the people around us. And those guys, right, a number of them are captains, a number of them have been key contributors, to our season. And I think it's just a great blend of the pro free agents, the veterans that were here, guys that were here on this roster, collaborating on making this thing to get where it is today. And so I think that those guys all get along really well. The guys that we wanted to bring in here were football guys that, football was very important to them in their lives and their careers. And so that's blended pretty nicely.
Process change over the course of the year. You start the season, nobody has any tape on what you want to do. You get to this point of the year, there's a ton of tape out there of what you've done over the course of the season. You got back-to-back games, playing a team for the second time.
Yeah, mentioned to the players, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, is when you play a team so close together in weeks or days, if you will, it's the team that, hey, how much can we know our opponent and what they did against us in the first game, what worked, what didn't, and, okay, what's the next chess move, right? And starting to anticipate either your next chess move or theirs. And that's how much you have to study, understand your own plan first and foremost, and then, okay, what are the next steps that could occur as players and coaches for all of us to understand some of those things. And that is the beauty of game planning towards the end of the year, especially when you're playing somebody this close again, is plays off plays, making sure that you're not straying away from too much of what you do well, even though maybe it worked 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever it's been, is making sure that, hey, we want to still be able to do things that we do well, but we may have to dress it up differently or whatever it is. Or, hey, maybe we wanted to attack this certain coverage, didn't get as much of it against them the first time, but they've played more of it recently. Whatever it is, you got to go into archives still. I mean, I was just watching 2023 Lou Anarumo. So you go deep and you look and you search.
2023, different team.
Yeah.
How is that just the mind of a coach, or are you able to still get a wrinkle or two out of that one, or
Yeah,
confirm stuff?
More flow, play caller, situational calls, things like that may show up against maybe like teams and stuff like that. So you try to go not too far, right? It's just more so if you don't have enough inventory or something, or you just want to see maybe how a coach or their defense has evolved or played differently, or what are the improvements and things that maybe they've made as a defense. And so, yeah, different players and all that, but you can still see and find anything.
Is that normal for you to get that far back, or is it because you're playing them the second time, you've already covered a lot of ground?
That's more what it is, yeah.
So they'd be watching 2024 Bucks tape for you then, I would assume.
Oh,
I think.
definitely, absolutely, yeah. They've 100% watched Bucks film. There's no question. So, yeah, that's because look, you only get so many. All right, short yardage plays on a season, or 3rd and 7 on the sevens. Like you don't have a ton of those even throughout our season this year. Maybe short yardage more, yes, but like 3rd and 9 on the 9, 12 on the 12, end of half, end of game, like 2-minute situations, 4-minute. You only get so many of these plays, if you will, to put into a grouping. And so you just want to make sure you have a sample size and you can pull outliers out and be able to then kind of move different tendencies either up or down based on some of that data. But you're not exactly saying, man, we're going to attack this all the time because that was 2 years ago.
Are you one of those coaches that has that photographic memory of like 3 years ago we saw this and I called this and it worked, or type of thing like that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not Sean by any means like that, but you usually have a better feel for things that you've called, right? Like when you're calling it and you remember play calls a lot differently than when you weren't calling it, if you will, right? So yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the situations and plays that I've probably called, I can, go back on and have a pretty clear memory of. But, Sean's kind of a freak that way.
Guys, good?
Yeah.
All good.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Yep.